This is Dawn Must Follow Night by Hunter Danson. Part 1, Chapter 30. Read by the author. Yarrick and Pyotr carried Hobbs' body as respectfully as they could. It was an effort. Yarrick's leg yelled at him with every step, and by the time they reached the pyre he was panting. If you had told him before that he would have cared enough to give Hobb an honorable burial, he would have laughed. But now, Hobb had been starting to treat Yarrick like an actual person after Maria's death, which was a miracle, but that didn't matter now. They lifted him to the pyre and rolled him onto it. Yarrick arranged Hobb's arms for the last time and whispered, "Dawn greet thee." The rain still poured, but Meredith didn't seem to think it would interfere with the giving of bodies to the dawn. All except a small watch on the battlements gathered around the same pyre where Maria had burned. 4 students now slept on the wood. The prelate stepped forward without a word, holding a long iron rod. He placed it at the base of the pyre and held it with both hands. Tendrils of smoke started drifting up from the kindling. The rod heated to a deep red-orange, boiling the rain that fell on it before the kindling leapt to flame. Meredith stepped back, watching the rest of the oil-soaked pyre catch. "Is Kavar going to be able to do that?" Yarrick wondered. The prelate offered no explanation for the small miracle he had just performed, keeping his eyes fixed on the burning students. Yarrick looked past him at the dark clouds and the smoke drifting upwards. This was not the dawn they had been expecting. Yarrick didn't know much about the politics of the realm, but he knew that the Blades were a neutral party. They kept to themselves as far as possible from the power struggles that went on between lords. He could understand why Dindra might want control of the castle, but to kill students, was that really the way of the world? They kept the vigil until the moon dropped below the horizon. Yarrick realized how tired he was when it finally did. He limped to the barracks and fell into bed, throwing his saber onto Kavar's empty mattress. He fell asleep to the sound of the rain pummeling his roof. Pyotr shook him awake after what seemed a few moments. Yarrick glared at him with a groggy eye. His friend smiled. "It's our watch, friend." Yarrick responded with a half-awake growl and rolled out of bed. He strapped his saber back on and walked into the day. He cursed when he was hit by the rain, still falling. Then he cursed again when he started walking and the water pooled in his boots. He climbed the stairs behind Pyotr and relieved 2 of the students who had taken first watch. "You're late," one of them said, shouldering Yarrick on her way down. "You're welcome," Yarrick said, watching her leave before turning back to the courtyard. A small lake was forming around the battering ram. There was a blackened hole in the roof where his lance had landed. The 2 students stood and watched long enough for Yarrick to lose his thoughts in the rain. "You know any songs?" Pyotr asked suddenly. "What?" "Songs." Not really. The Blades were not given to singing, though bards sometimes composed ballads about them. The songs Yarrick could remember were the ones his mother used to sing, and that was a long time ago. "You know any?" "A couple. I grew up singing them in Valem. Everyone in my village did before... Pyotr tried to bring himself to continue, but couldn't. "Why don't you sing one now?" Yarrick asked. "No way. I haven't sung since..." Pyotr put up his hands. "Trust me, you don't want to hear it." "Listen," Yarrick said. "We're probably going to die anyway, so I'll be the only one who knows how terrible you sound." He smiled. "Fine," Pyotr said. He laughed and looked towards the dark horizon. "Stop staring at me." Yarrick smiled and followed Pyotr's gaze. His friend coughed and inhaled. Oh, the sun sets on a stormy. Pyotr halted, not satisfied. The sun sets. Oh, the sun sets on a stormy sea, and the waves crash on the salty shore, and the night will find you, no matter where you are. It'll find the fisher in his boat, find the mother in her home, find the baby in its cradle. It'll find you. When the sun sets on a stormy sea, and the waves crash on the salty shore, and the night will find you, no matter where you are. Oh, you'd better not be alone when you see the sky grow dark and the waves grow tall. It'll find you.